Hello, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Yolanda.
I'm Tony.
This is Tony, our teen guru.
It's a little scary.
Our teen guru.
Yeah.
She's really cool, too. The teens love her.
It's the blue hair.
It is. So you have put together a great series about teens and parenting and therapy and all the things mixed
All the
together.
things that come out when I'm working with the teens. So for our final week, I wanted to talk about our approach at Harper Therapy and what makes us different.
Yeah, we do things a little bit differently around here. Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Yes. It's a good thing, promise.
Yeah. Because we care about your
Yes.
outcomes. We care about you getting better. We care about your teen and your relationship. So
Yeah, and so when you bring your teen in for therapy, we do ask that you're involved as their parent. And from the first session, I will set up that ideally once a month we'll have a family session and everybody gets involved. And sometimes it's a 15-minute, hey, are we seeing things on the same page?
Right.
Because sometimes the teen is not 100% honest with me, or they just see things differently.
they see things differently.
And so what they're telling me is different from what you're seeing.
Well, and even from that first session, when the teen and the parents come in, we're asking the teen what their goals are for therapy, but we're also asking the parents.
Yes.
Those things aren't necessarily the same. Like the goals are not necessarily the same.
They usually are not.
So, right.
Yeah.
So in session, the teen might be speaking to whatever it is that their goals are, and that's what flavors the conversation.
Yes.
And so having parents come in so that we can get that parent perspective and touch base on the progress towards parents' goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but when you're bringing your kiddo into therapy, it's not always just about the teen. And I think that sometimes parents are surprised by that, or honestly, it's scary and you don't really want to do it, but there's work that as a parent you need to do to help your teen. And I mean, speaking from experience, my kids are 5 and 6. I was like, oh crap,
Do you remember their name?
Yeah. I don't know. And my son, when he was 3, I took him to the doctor because he was having some really big emotions and some really big behaviors. And I took him to the doctor, and they took like one look at him and were like, he has anxiety. What? He's 3.
Right.
What do I do for a 3-year-old with anxiety?
Right.
Play therapy. I went to play therapy. I'm like, all right, here you go.
Right.
And then I talked with the therapist, and I realized it was me. Like, I had a lot of work to do. And granted, like, she worked with him and played with him, and we figured out what his fears were, what was causing the anxiety.
Right.
But it was a lot looking at, like, okay, how can I be more present in his life?
Yeah.
What can I do different? And that's where what we talked about last week, the emotions.
Right.
Being able to identify my own emotions, because in that moment, I thought I was failing as a parent.
It's so interesting that we see anytime that our kid struggles, that's an immediate, like that
It's a reflection of me. It's something I'm doing. I messed up.
And it's so funny because society definitely reinforces that notion. So in grad school, we're both social workers by trade, and we study under the systems perspective, and really what that means in any relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, parent-child, friendship, like a change in a part of the system changes the system. Yeah, a change in a part of the system for the better can kind of cause a ripple effect.
Right. Yes.
And when you've got multiple parts of the system working to benefit the system, that makes for even better progress.
Right. You could see the change. You could see the good things coming from it. And it is like, once I started getting more curious about my emotions, and especially that shame emotion.
Right. How we experience shame as parents, and how that comes out.
How it comes out, and how it then reflects onto my son and my daughter. Like, that was probably a big aha for me.
Well, and in situations like this, sometimes it's us unlearning some of the patterns and stuff that either we grew up with, or in our best efforts to, like, I mean, I'm still looking for the ultimate parenting book that gives you all of the answers.
Yes, or the magic wand.
That the magic wand would be lovely. Come on, Amazon.
But just fix it.
Right.
Amazon, that'd be perfect. So just recognizing that if your teen is starting therapy, it is going to be it's a family process. And getting ready for that, because that could be pretty scary for you, for your husband, for your, whoever, everyone involved, and having to really take a hard look at what's going on and where is that coming from.
And that policy, or that the way that we do these sessions, the reason behind that is because we take a look at the most effective outcomes from teens in their therapy process, and we see, like, this is how we get the best outcomes. This is how we help families reach their collective goals with one another. So,
well, and if you look at when we do individual, when I'm working with an adult, I go back to their family. You go back to when they were teens, and okay, so, how did your parents teach you this? What was your family of origin behavior that you learned that you're taking with you, and trying to undo that. So rather than trying to undo that when you're 25 or 30 or 40, we're working on it when they're 15, and we're getting everyone involved.
And this can be, like you said, really hard as a parent. And I think to break it down to say, as parents, we're doing the best that we can.
Yes.
And so there's a lot that is that, some of it is what was modeled when we were younger. And so we're either trying to replicate or figure out something different.
Yes.
We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants in a lot of ways, even if we've read all the parenting books.
Right. I think I said it in week 1, like, we're all screwing up our kids.
Yeah.
We're doing what we know.
Good parenting is, do you have a therapy fund? That's one of our, good parenting? Is there a therapy fund? Then you're golden. You're golden. Yeah.
That's all it takes.
So, and I also think it's important to point out that even as we're doing the best that we can and we're giving our kiddo everything that we know, sometimes our kids aren't in a place of receptivity to be able to take that in.
Right. Well, and because I think it goes back to the parent modeling. And if you, it's a whole system thing, that if they aren't learning how to be receptive to feedback and constructive criticism and things like that, and they just see, big emotions all the time, then they're not in the right place to accept that. So how do you take a step back and teach them that?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to happen in a vacuum. Like, so much of what we do as parenting is again, even if through our best efforts, can tend to be reactive. And so therapy is a space for everybody to come together so that we can take an objective look. Let's look at the things that are going well.
Yes.
And that's another thing that we really focus on as social workers, right? As from a strengths-based perspective, we want to meet your teen and your family where things are going well.
Right. What's working for you, and how do we enhance that? How do we make that the big deal and not the bad stuff?
Yeah. So that we can take that and use those tools for the parts that are challenging.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this series. I think that it is really an important one, especially as we're coming through COVID and all of the upside downness of that, and how that's complicated things as well. So if any of what you've heard resonates for you, resonates for your teen, sounds like your family, we are here to help you. So give us a call, 813-434-3639. We can set up a free consult for you with Tony and any of our other amazing therapists here. Otherwise,
bye,
have
guys.
a good one.